Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcasting, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.
I pray that my love for you is bigger than what my parents have.
So you must be my daughter's new friend?
Candy, let me ask you a question.
Oh, so this him? This the man that comforts you more than me?
Mama, all men ain't like daddy.
That's not fair! Rise and grind, wanna show at 9:15 a.m. Monday through Friday, great conversation, guest appearances, 'cause you experience us on the cusp of blowing up. Boom. Wake up, wake up. Rise and grind, morning show.
Is my mic on? Hello, hello. One day my picture's not going to be there and I'm just going to come to work and it's going to be replaced with some random person. Oh, good morning. My name is Miles Dixon and I'm a dickhead.
Welcome to the Dick in the Show. Never know.
Dick in the show. Dick in the show. That's why we can't have no kids. He started off all wrong.
I mean, no, you started off all wrong. Blake had my voice.
I had your voice.
Welcome to the Rise and Grind Morning Show, y'all. We do this every Monday through Friday, 9:15 or whenever Lake get ready.
That's not a booger. It is a hair, everyone. I just want to let you know. We tried to rectify the situation before.
See, it only take a woman like Lake to point up all your flaws.
No, I'm trying.
It's okay.
Look how big your nose is on. If somebody's watching this on a 75-inch television.
I mean cocaine is a heavy drug.
I know. That's why I had to stop using it. I tried it.
Did you?
I ain't even gonna lie.
Did you?
That's not for me. I am so happy.
My boy said he couldn't get her
We
because it
listen
was
and
his
we
house.
don't judge.
Right.
Huh?
My boy said he couldn't keep up with it because he only stayed high for like 3 minutes.
And you know what?
Ladies and gentlemen, Lake Butlers are right here.
Hey everybody, what's going on? You know what I mean? And this is going to be a little too much in TMI, but yeah, I'm happy that I was blessed to try some things and then not be addicted to the point where it affected my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel bad when you see people that have heavy addictions.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, at what point did you keep going back? At what point couldn't you afford it? At what point was it more important not to wipe your ass than to get out there and get a fix? Like, I don't.
Well,
I feel like people never start there.
Well,
It's just a thing that happens.
I think the people that do cocaine is not like crackheads. Crackheads is different. The crackheads is really different because they are in search of a bump.
I mean, essentially, we all have an addiction to something.
We do.
Yeah.
We
it's
absolutely
just,
do.
You know, it's just a matter of everybody's personal
Mine's is
preference.
Pornhub, like when it first came out.
I hope
What is it
get
now?
a virus.
Huh?
That's why he got
get a virus.
No, it did. That's why he on that mint now.
No, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. What happened is, to me, I'm addicted to praying now, right?
Okay, I'm glad you fixed the P.
And listen, right, I'm addicted to praying now to where, and since you're being honest about your coke addiction,
What? No, mom.
Don't do that to her.
I was just joking.
Not my coke addiction. No.
She's like, y'all got a commercial.
We're having technical difficulties. We will be right back.
For real.
To collect the D's. No, but just this morning, I was praying so hard, and I asked God just to relieve me. And then when I laid down, I felt like I was about to die. I felt like my chest was caving in. I said, okay, now God, I didn't mean relieve me. Like, take me out of this, boy. So I stood set up and got myself together.
So
I'm addicted to prayer.
I will tell you one thing. When you do have heart palpitations and things, lay flat on a hard surface.
Oh, that's dope.
That will. I actually was coding. This was years ago. I almost lost my life when I was like in 36.
Okay.
Wow.
And I remember looking at King over me, like this can't be this can't be it for me. But my heart was beating so fast that you could see it through my chest.
Wow.
And I remember dropping him off at Mommy's and Muffins, and that's why I believe this is actually March is Heart Health Month.
Wow.
And I am really passionate about that because you don't know until you know.
Right.
Exactly.
That a lot of people, when you talk to them and they've had strokes and heart attacks, they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like the day was normal, and then I woke up. You know, thank God for those who have. But when they got me to the hospital, for one, I didn't know that if you come in with any heart issues, you're supposed to immediately let them know. I went and sat down.
Oh, wow.
And the nurse ran out, like, my mom ran in, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just waiting my turn. And my mom was like, she's having heart issues. And everybody came from the back, grabbed me, threw me on the curtain. I could hear them talk about, it wasn't cold black, but they said we had a cold. As soon as they threw the gurney back, my body started regulating. And they like, the first thing you do, lay flat. If you can't do anything, lay flat on a hard surface, let your body even out, call 911.
Right.
You know, but that's your best line of defense. Don't sit up.
Thank you for sharing that, because you just gave me an idea for a movie. That's going to be so dope.
I'm glad she can help in that capacity.
I know one thing we need to do.
What?
I keep giving you ideas for movies. We need to sign a contract. Last week,
at the end of the day,
it was the airport.
No, that was already in writing.
No, but you're gonna take my story of love.
Oh no, love. You just nasty. Anyway,
I ain't as nasty as the girl that can suck peanut butter through a straw.
Damn, where's she at?
On the video, people be sending me random reels.
On the video, like that's how everybody algorithm.
I guess people be sending me reels, so maybe I'll mention it on the show, because if y'all see how many reels I get a day,
that's probably nasty.
People be probably sending you topics. I get a lot of reels too, because a lot of topics can come through them. So
don't Shandy talking about me, because
he sent something this morning, but I get a lot. This was actually the first time that I got something from Miles. Really, ever. Yeah. I mean, maybe in a while. And
it be some good talking points in there, though.
You gonna start getting more. Hey, y'all, listen. Today's topic is let's get crazy. Let's go get nuts. Our future is our youth, and I feel so bad for our future
and our youth. Our future and our elders.
But I feel like we really have to look at that, though, because I feel like a lot of adults feel like, hey, this is not my generation, it's not my problem. I've already done my parenting, and now their grandkids and things like that, and they're not pouring into.
Would they have to look at themselves as failures too, then, if that's the case? Because
I know. I feel like it's up to the parents and the grandparents and things like that to be that model, that example for the youth.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, Shannon, you are a different breed when it comes to your age group.
Thank you.
And like I think I told you this before, y'all age group ain't done shit since y'all been here.
Wait.
We just trying to make it.
First and foremost, can I shout out Rhea for the fearless focus?
Yes, that's what I said. The shout out to the
fearless focus. I love this. This was a birthday gift for me.
Happy birthday!
I told you like Janet Jackson in control.
I am.
She looks really cute. I love her
and focused.
What you do?
Now let's go back to Shanny's generation not doing shit for the community or anybody.
She's like, well, in other news.
What generation is this? The millennials?
Millennials. It's like they have not done, like they haven't created no wave, no nothing. Not all the way through.
I feel like
there has been some success bumps. You know what I mean?
I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
The impact of the millennials, I believe, is like acceptance and
Gay.
I was trying to figure out a way to say. I was gonna more so say acceptance of people for who they are and allowing people to just be.
Yeah.
Like
I will say that.
Before, I'm the Generation X.
Y'all wasn't having
so kids were still hiding their sexuality. People were still hiding their purpose.
Yeah.
You know, it was you can't be now teased for being who you are.
Right.
Not the way, because it's more people like you. Like a group of trans will fuck you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
they
talking
stick
crap.
together.
First of all, you don't know how to be like, hey, you wasn't he.
Yeah, use the correct pronouns.
Son, daughter, boy, girl, guy.
Now I told a girl, boy, I gotta call a girl woman because Trump changed shit. So her name is girl woman in my phone.
But what have y'all done?
Okay, in our defense, I feel like the 20-year-olds now is not the same 20-year-olds when y'all were 20-year-olds. I feel like the older generation always talked about how they enjoyed their 20s, how their 20s was a time where they could make mistakes and, you know, get it together maybe in their 30s or 40s, take those, you know, lessons that they learned in their 20s and project that onto when they get older. But now I feel like the 20-year-olds now have so much weight on their shoulders. They're trying to, you know, be that adult or just be out on their own, and so much stuff comes with it. The normal 20-something-year-old is not saying like, oh, I'm just living life. Whole time they trying to figure it out. They're trying to make it. They may not have that support. They may not have a village, that guidance and things like that. So
are the 20-year-olds now the children of millennials?
Yeah,
our generation X. Are these my children?
They
would be my children.
It'll be your children.
Oh
yes.
yeah, we give no fucks about our kids. You know, we so tired, and I think like I was actually thinking the opposite because we were talking about this last week or a few weeks ago when we were talking about like putting kids out.
Oh,
you know, I feel
ready.
like my generation had to leave home 16, 17, 18 years old, and we didn't know how to raise. We were raising ourselves with our children.
Yeah, y'all were doing the best that y'all could with what y'all had, and I understand that. But now I feel like parents are giving grace. They're like, hey, I'm not, you know, letting my child go out into the road unless they're ready. Whereas before, it was mandatory for you to, you know, they made it uncomfortable. It was set to be uncomfortable.
Are you sure you're a millennial? Because you still ain't told me what y'all done. What have they done?
Millennials, like I said, I believe millennials probably been the least productive.
I feel like we're changing the narrative. I feel like that's what our generation is doing.
I'm about to say, but they've been the most active as far as bringing things to the forefront.
81 to 96.
Yeah.
That's
the cutoff. Just made a cut.
Well, so you're 96?
Yes.
Okay, so you kind of like a Gen Z. Like you.
That's what I said. I just made the cut, but
I'm the same way with Gen X. I was 79. It cut off at 80.
Yeah.
You know, but I was definitely not a millennial.
Yeah, but I feel like even with the parenting now, I feel like our generation of dads, you know, are stepping up and want to be in their child's life. Whereas in your generation, we saw a lot of, you know, single parent households, dad not showing up. Now it's like, hey, whatever relationship that I have with the mom doesn't affect the relationship that I have with the kids.
Right. See how you responded to that? You responded as an intelligent human being and not like a millennial.
Thanks.
No, but she's responding to it as what they've seen.
Right.
So to her point, so we say our future is our youth. Let's take if you were born in 81, that puts you at 44. 43, 44 to 30. That is the millennial generation. So you guys knew what computer did they have computers?
Yes.
Like they were all computers.
At
this point,
they're all computers.
By 81, Apple had already come out.
Yeah, they schools. Majority of their schools was embedded with Apple computers. They had computer labs in schools.
Right.
We did have computer labs. Yeah. Ours at the time was not Apple. They were just the regular desktop. But we still had textbooks that we, and then we would have computer lab day when we would go to the computer lab, use either the laptops or desktops, but it wasn't something that was like our everyday agenda how it is now.
In the beginning, now about time you graduated, was it still the same way?
Yeah, it was still textbooks. We just did like our testing and things like that in the computer lab,
which makes sense. I graduated from high school in 1996.
I graduated in 89.
So when I got to college,
look you
right,
I gave you a little side eye, but
I thought it was earlier than that. I'm like, really? That's not too bad.
You wouldn't say.
When I first got to college, we had a computer lab. I think I had a word processor to write my papers on.
Wow.
Damn.
And I didn't get a computer probably until 2000.
Damn.
So I went like 4 years without having my own personal computer.
You know what? I was in business and I still didn't have my own computer like that because I hated computers.
Not to sound like that, but what were you guys working on?
Typewriters.
Word processor. You wrote your shit.
Yeah,
okay.
What was you working on? Paper.
Say, remember
the
that?
youth is our future.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Fucked up.
But to be honest with you, the times of us going back to pen and paper, I feel like it's not going to be too much of that.
No, it needs to go. It needs to go back. It needs to do that.
I agree that it needs to go back because you do remember things just writing it down.
Right.
I have a question. When was the last time you guys wrote something?
Yesterday.
Your hand didn't hurt?
No.
Gee.
You got to remember, your body is muscle memory is a motherfucker.
It is, but if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
But I never stop writing. I never stop writing. Let's acknowledge the people that's in our thread. What are those? Good morning, Calvin.
Good morning.
Rhea says, "Yes, I see you, Lake. Fearless focus looks good on you." And I shout out to Miss Monique and her husband. Richard and her sister-in-law Natasha, David. What I know, Davey, Detroit Port of Detroit. And I guess we're gonna have on Thursday. She's online too. I don't want to pronounce her name wrong. I'm just gonna say AU, which is the initials of her name. She says millennials are the products of a lot of trauma. Very true. We just decided to rest and be free. That's a good look. He said, "Y'all ain't lying, but some of us got motion, and we are trying."
I don't know what's going on here.
And that's what I said. I feel like
a lot of y'all got motion.
The youth should have grace. Give us time to figure it out and get it together. And really figure out what life is, because every single day that's what we're doing. We just figuring out and moving through life.
I totally agree. The reason,
go ahead. No,
because there's no rule book.
There's no rule book and there's no guidebook. However, I would say this: millennials are very aggressive. You know what I mean? They make motion through their emotions.
Because I feel like we have to prove ourselves. I feel like that's why they come off aggressive.
Yeah. No, but that's good. Your aggressiveness causes motion. I'm just saying, in real life, when it's coming down, y'all standing down 10 toes down, which I believe in, it's just kind of difficult for y'all because y'all know the past of the history of people getting killed, murdered, and all that, and y'all don't want to get y'all not fearless like that. And that's the thing that when I was growing up, they was producing fearless groups of people, men and women. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like we are fearless. It may just look different.
Well, I was gonna with the millennials, and I think the difference between millennials and Generation X is going back to the images that you guys saw. You remember when Malice Green was killed?
No, she don't. I do.
I'm talking to you.
Okay. Sorry.
That was free.
Malice Green was killed. We heard about it on the news. It was just that. When Rodney King was beaten, we was able to catch the tape, and people was like literally passing the VHS around. But when millennials came around, they were the ones, for one, getting killed
Yeah.
often and seeing the image just even more.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
like...
No, that's true. I
Like,
didn't think about it like that.
going back to what somebody said, like the trauma.
Right.
Can you imagine, like, I'm trying to erase the trauma out of my social media and everything because, like, this is my fear when it comes to the youth being our future. The saturation of the images that we are feeding this generation who constantly stays on a device.
Yeah.
Is fucking with our minds.
Yeah.
It's the biggest mind F I've ever seen before, and it started with the millennial generation.
Yeah. When you say that, I totally agree. But they also have the power to delete it before we can.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, but
Really, what the stuff that's being presented on social media.
Yeah, y'all have the power of rejecting it before her or I can even get to it because
they're the one taping it.
Right. Basically.
I mean, that's true, but essentially the same stuff is going to come on everybody's algorithm. That's how we able to sit here and know the same video or see the same video.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I just feel like, as far as it comes to deleting, once it's out there, it's out there. Even if it is deleted.
But why is the need for violence so prevalent in your generation?
I feel like it's off of the aggressiveness, and I feel like everybody is in that survival mode mindset.
That's the way they can. That's the only way they can express themselves because there would never no outlets. You gotta realize the majority of them is raised by single parent mothers.
Yeah,
I mean, so let's just put it like that. So they are very emotional, no matter how you want to.
That's
put
so
it.
good, Ms. Rhea, and I agree.
What Ms. Rhea saying?
She said we push millennials more because we want you all to not make our mistakes, but millennials tend to run towards what we are trying to protect them from.
Yeah.
I just feel like personally, again, it's just learning life. We have to bump our head too. We have to make those mistakes. We do.
Hov did that, so hopefully you
and
not.
And
to
I
go
get
through
it.
that.
However, you telling me something and me experiencing it for myself, that lesson may be greater once I take that, that step myself. However, I can learn from certain situations so that I won't have to repeat it.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like the wisdom and the older adults come from. But you have to give us grace to be able to navigate through life how you guys once were.
But how long you
able to?
But how long you think you should? How long do you think another generation deserve grace when you fall into another generation?
I mean, I don't think it should be that far. However, I just feel like the same opportunities that the generation before us was granted is the same ones that we should.
Well, but
Y'all like
I'm
2
also.
more years from me.
But I'm like, I mean, like the oldest.
You're
what do we
done.
say? The oldest person in the generation is 2 years younger than me. Like, get your shit together. Like, you're 44. I mean, you are not youth.
I get it, but by the time you reach your 40s, you're not still moving as if you were in your 20s.
Generation running 30s. It looked like it was running in the 30s.
Well, either way, in your 30s and your 40s, you're not moving the same way.
So right now we are watching our country. Our country right now is being destroyed by This is Generation X or partially the baby boomers still running.
Yeah, he baby boomer.
I'm not just talking about him. I'm talking about the collective.
The collective baby.
I feel like it maybe started with the boomers, and then it kind of trickled down.
Senate, if you look at our Senate and our Congress, the average age of them some bitches is 60. So that's crazy.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Even at 60 or so years old, you're trying to navigate this space and stage in life.
Listen, you call it algorithm, right? Eric Dyson said years ago, he said, I'd be glad when people quit blaming algorithm and believe in our rhythm. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain is no matter how a person is, you can always change. And 9 times out of 10, if you're around 5 people that's similar to y'all all are alike, you know what I mean? So the first 5 or 10 people is y'all just alike. That's why when you see groups out, you be like, here come the bullshit. And then you might be saying shit like, oh, I ain't with that. And you not, right?
Yeah.
But then late, just come pop, hit a girl, you know what I mean? Like, oh, shit, I know it. And now you in the middle.
They're my
of
people.
They're my people, right?
So AU said that they went through the worst part of black men being taken out of the homes. And that's when some of the BS started. So, AU, I would like to know what generation you are a part of.
She said 98, I think.
Did you say 98?
Okay.
Well,
So she's under the millennial.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not the word. The worst generation that went through men getting taken out of homes was like 74.
That's what I was like, our generation. The
that's what I
Generation X.
said.
74 through 89.
It was common for the men not to be in the household.
It wasn't common. That's why it was so much trauma involved because you got to realize every automotive company was firing and laying off black people on purpose. And it's just because they had to raise the welfare rate because white folks was killing the welfare. You know what I mean? They're like,
Right.
oh no, we got to show that these Negroes
Needed too.
Because
they operate off of villages. We gotta slaves.
Exactly.
Them slaves stayed in their village, no matter how men didn't turn their backs on their women just because he seen her being raped. Like I see what you doing here. I'm gonna stand by my woman.
Right.
Maybe not that child, but
Right.
I'll stand by my
Let's say
woman.
nonetheless.
Okay, so
our futures are you.
but we our future, our youth, and I'm like, aren't we responsible? So one of the things that today was supposed to be is like Kids Day, because I really wanted to shine some light on young people, because it's a disconnect, I believe, across generations, period.
I agree.
Like I ask people all the time, when was the last time you talked to an 8 to 17-year-old person?
Most people don't,
that's
unless
not
that's
your
their
child.
kids.
Oh, that's not my
Exactly.
That's not your
Exactly.
child.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to.
That's what I'm
And that's
saying.
the problem.
And that's
Hold on,
what
hold on.
our
No.
future is. Our youth. It's up to you
but here's why.
to do
But
that
listen to
work.
this. Here's why.
Work.
Word. Well, here's the thing. So I used to have a lot of interns coming up in my
Yeah.
business, and then one thing I learned, I was telling this young gentleman about, being the best person he could possibly be. You know what I mean? And if he want to get into music, you know what I mean? I said, Mr. Taba, he's the best person to work with you, but you have to listen to him. If he tell you to do something, tell you to be here at 5, and you come in there at 6:15 and expecting the same reaction, that's disrespectful, because he's taking his time out to teach you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, so he went back in tearful mode with his mother. His mother came to me and cussed me the hell out. Who the fuck is you to I'm like, hold on. And so when you try to teach a child something in the most graceful way, you got to really know the ignorance of their parents is the thing that would distract you and push you away. And that happens in people who are even parenting with other people. It happens. So,
I understand, but at the end of the day, you're doing your part. So once you've done that, that's all you can do.
But it make you bitter and it make you not want to talk to other kids.
It doesn't have to make you bitter. It's literally
Not
one
bitter,
of those
not
things
bitter.
where it's
Nah,
like
I ain't saying I'm
you've
not
done your
bitter,
part, right? Regardless to whatever a person does with that information that you provided is on them.
How
But
many times
again,
When I sit there and I talk to people who don't have children, the first thing they say, well, I ain't got kids, so
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z, or if I was a parent,
Why you
I
gotta do your thing
would,
like this?
because that's usually it's some woman telling you
but
what
it's
they
still
would do
their
if they had kids.
responsibility, and they're going to be affected at some point.
And then I
By the
always
youth.
ask people, like, why don't you allow the children that's in your life to be a part of your life, because you don't have children? You know, like I spent a lot of time with my youngest cousins.
That's what a village come in.
When I was in high school and college, you know, I didn't have children. I didn't have siblings, but if it was sibling weekend, you know, I found who I call my god brother from the church, you know what I'm saying, and brought Alex up along with my deceased brother. You know, like, y'all come up to college so y'all can see what this is like, because they're living in the hood. You know, neither one of them had an idea, but I wanted to take that time out. I'm young 20s. I'm trying to build a life for myself.
Right.
Why wouldn't I take time out for youth? And when I came back from college, I volunteered at it was on the east side, Akibalon
Village off of Van Dyke.
Yeah. I volunteered at Akibalon for a year and a half teaching entrepreneurship.
That's dope.
Every Wednesday after school.
That's dope.
And to this day, one of my prize students, who is a mom now and a principal, you know what I'm saying, she thanks me all the time for that time and believing
We
her,
need to
because
get her on the show.
we can. Well, so she can tell you how great I am.
Yeah.
But
I would love to hear about your greatness, and I'm being very truthful, because one thing, people like you, and I like to throw myself in the batch. Thank you.
we're in the same batch.
Right,
I can't never be in a batch by myself.
Ain't that about a batch? Anyway, but no, seriously, we don't get enough credit in what we do, right? And giving people grace, in a sense to where it don't make it. That's why sometimes it be hard. You know what I mean? I be like, I be wanting to reach out to kids all the time, but you gotta be real careful with children, especially children, especially teenagers, because these.
But I mean, and it's for one, Carolyn made it easy. Because it was a classroom full of people, and she wanted to be more than she had that embedded in her. So it's really easy to pick out light when you see it. You know, let's put that part. But I love to have her on the show. When I go out and I speak to different youth, I think the issue is, like, I did a conference at the church. They wanted me to speak to the young ladies. It was only 6. It was a small conference. It was 6 young ladies. Cool. No, this year I had 8. Things that they didn't know. Like, I kept it simple. Like, we talked about table etiquette. The how far you can go with please and thank yous. Knowing how to speak even when you feel uncomfortable. Because a lot of people push back because they don't feel like they belong. And that we don't give our youth a space to feel comfortable like they belong. So then they rebel. Yeah. And I think that's on us, especially Generation X, because we don't want to F with them. We in our 50s. Like, who want to sit down and be around a bunch of kids? But you have to be.
I feel like our patience have.
Oh, our patience. What patience?
Exactly. You know, like it has guys.
I can't hear you.
I know. Like, are you on the show? She ain't got no headphones on.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Boom. Thank you.
So, but I would say this. I'm not gonna lie. I have all the patience in the world, especially when it comes to children. What I don't have patience with is their parents. Because, but nowadays, and I'm especially like my daughter, my 13-year-old, she do so much to where she do little. Right. If that makes sense, she do everything. You like when I told her to make the YouTube thumbnail yesterday, she got on it, done it right, and she's like, "Okay, I'm tired." I'm like, "Wow."
That's my son. They're 13.
Yeah.
But that's now the iGen, which is Generation Z, which are the ones we really need to worry about.
Oh, no, we ain't worried about them.
No, those are our children.
No. Yeah. My daughter was born in 11. I mean,
right, that's generation.
She's born in
Okay, so she the alpha. Okay, when was she born? Like, maybe the problem is her dad don't know when she was born. Was she born in 11, 12, or 13?
11.
Okay. 11. Which King was born in 2011. That's the iGen. Okay, that's the Generation Z. Oh my they call them iGeneration because the iPhone had always existed by the time they were born.
Yeah. Like, they don't know life without
Z
it.
Was from 96 to 2009.
No, I have Generation Z is 97 to 12.
It's 97
to 2012.
I always want to say this. Rhea, you're wrong. Okay.
Well, yeah, because like
she said millennials are 98. 81 to 96.
Right.
Yeah.
So the I generation is really where we effed up. And it's 2 things that happen because there's a lot of Generation X that had iGens. Oh. So most of my friends, I have 2 sets of friends. I have friends with the kids that's in college, and then I have the friends with kids that's in elementary, middle school.
Would you ever cross those 2 friendship groups?
A lot of it has weaned themselves out because those parents of millennials don't want to be around the iGen. Okay, like they over it. Like they aged out of having young children. So
having friends with young children.
Well, having friends. So I lost a lot of friends. I just lost them because I'm going to the zoo. Right. But I used to be the person like I would go to the zoo. Like today, once we're done with today.
So I have a question for you. What does going to the zoo? What does that do for you? Does that kind of feed a part in life where you maybe had wanted to do that, didn't feel like you had the time to? Or
all the kids in my life right now that are part of the actually they're Z's and Alphas. They're my little futures. And if you go through my page and you see that's my hashtag. Okay. These are my retirement plans because I knew they were going to be effing up with Social Security. They told us that back in the 80s. So I got to pour into these little
MFers. It probably won't even be nothing.
our future is our youth.
Yeah.
Because I need to pour into these little MFers so they could be like, your old ass, we need to help you out.
You
we ain't
see
gonna
what
put you
I'm
in no
saying?
nursing home. Like my aunt used to go to the zoo with us when she didn't have to. Like she'd do a podcast all day. Like today we're going to see the Looney Tunes. Like I don't know why, but I'm taking these kids to see the Looney Tunes.
Rhea said, "No, y'all wrong." That she asked Alexa.
Well, she
Alexa is just like Siri. They both have autism, but they're on different spectrums.
and they own different.
Miss Rhea said I got credibility.
But I remember when I was pregnant with King in 2011, I was at the all you can eat buffet. I was looking at an Asian couple, and it was a child that was under 1 with a tablet. And they were practicing their ABCs. Yeah. I mistakenly thought that was going to be the advancement to my son's education.
Yeah.
The tablet.
The tablet.
Okay.
And being able to practice education. Yeah. Because in 2011, I didn't know how much of the devil that electronic devices was. We really wasn't on it yet. You think about that was almost 15 years ago, 14 years ago. Yeah. So King he got an iPad at 9 months.
Right.
And we thought it started off with a little coloring and stuff.
Right.
And then he wanted to bother us, so then we started turning on Blue's Clues. And then we started having him play a little game.
So it gradually grew.
And now, I told him, like, your neck even...
Yeah.
Like, if you see my son, his neck is always down.
Well,
yeah.
Me and Pooh got into it yesterday about that.
Do you
if
feel
you
like...
straighten up, and if you going to look at your phone, look at it like this.
That's what I told him.
Yeah. Do you feel like that happens because kids or, younger adults feel like they can't have a conversation with adults? Do it, they don't feel like you guys would maybe understand them or resonate with them?
Yesterday when I picked up Pooter, she talked my ears off. Daddy, I mean, she was going at it. I said, let me hear one of your favorite songs. She said, I got a lot of them. Yeah, I said, they got cussing in it. She said, some of them.
Yeah.
I said, let me hear one. She shut down. So I'm learning that you cannot really ask a direct question.
Not to this generation.
Not to this generation. You have to really be like, come on, let's, have fun with them.
King would not listen to music with me at all.
Where they're at, and you get better results.
So to answer your question, I think we took out conversing with our children.
Yes.
With the IGN, everybody.
Yeah.
In
Some
schools
families don't even sit down and eat together anymore.
I don't even have a dining room.
Okay. Yeah. When I grew up, we literally sat at the table, we ate together, we just talked about our day, things like that. And kids now,
my
they're
family
not
was hurt yesterday. I said, come on, we about to go eat shit. I don't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh? No, Dad. I'm like, if I was your mama, she's not going to eat out with my mama neither. I was like, wow.
Because that forces her to sit across the table and then
social.
Like, I'm an only child.
Yeah.
So King is like the perfect child. Go in there and be on some tablet because I don't want to be bothered.
Exactly. because you understand that dynamic. So you feel like he's just doing him in his space and things like that. Do you feel like maybe he wants to reach out or talk to you? No. Okay.
He only want to reach He's starting to talk more.
Okay.
And now that this shit, I know so many 13-year-olds right now. Like they're all 12, 13, 11, 12, and 13. I have abundance. We can start forcing them because now you're older. So I can hold you accountable to have a conversation. Like you can't go through life with your head down.
I get it.
But when we're in the car, I just kind of want to listen to my music, and my kid is a headphone kid. Most of these kids are headphone kids. So I don't know. I kind of get what Miles is saying. Like, we're screwed when it comes to them being our future because they don't look up enough to really know what's going on in the world.
I'll give a perfect example. I'm coming, as I picked her up, I said, what side of town you were on?
I did that to King the other day.
She's like, huh? I said, we just came from the east side and we went straight the opposite direction. What side of town you on? She's like, I don't know. I said, what city you in? I said, you just went on your phone and we just ordered food. Where did it say? I don't know. I said, you have to pay attention to everything you do.
Yeah.
I said, if we got into an accident right here and you can't even tell people.
You can't even tell them where we are. I woke up the other morning. I said, the sunrise where? He said, outside.
Outside.
But no shit, genius.
Yeah. No. A song off the game helped me with that.
But then
to remember that.
But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make it more simple. It's an East or West.
The
He's like, I'll take
in
West.
the East. Yeah. It says in. I'm telling you, the game helped me with that.
What the game say?
They had a little song. It was like, the sun sets in the East. And
no,
the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. It was like, stand up for your rights, stand up for your lefts.
Oh, anyway,
it was
the game, okay. The show.
Yes, it was the episode, but it's okay because that's what helped me. But remember that.
Blues.
So I'm trying to tell King. I mean, like the whole remembering East, West, North, and South is something that we've been focusing on. And I just said this to him the other day. I said, you can't find your way if you don't know which way you're going.
Right.
That's true.
Like, at least you can tell people
phone numbers. So y'all had a good memory.
But now I don't.
You remember your first phone number. Everybody do that.
865-2114.
No, I'm saying y'all were the generation that had to remember other people's phone numbers.
Everybody's phone number.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But no, we didn't. Listen, how about this? If when I was teaching Pooter, I said, Pooter, you lost so much information by not being around me, right? When she was 6 years old, her teacher called me and said, Mr. Dixon, can you do me a favor? I mean, I know you want to teach Naveen different things, but she just be blurting out things when I ask questions to the class, and it's not fair to other students. I said, well, how you going to tell me? I told my daughter there's 54 countries in Africa, right? And then I was teaching her other things about Africa, where they get the minerals and stuff, the natural resources. Her teacher told me, can you not do that? Because it's like a disturbance in the class.
Damn.
They're like, and I'm saying to myself, like, no. And I just told Pooter, I said, Pooter, when is my birthday? November. I mean, she used to know everything about me and her mama. You know, her mother's birthday. I said, tell me your mother's birthday. She said, don't act like you don't know. She said, I mean, like the first. You know,
right?
Like,
yeah.
I said
that
no.
is it.
So
I don't know where to start.
I agree with that, Tone, and that's what I've pretty much been saying.
What do you
Tone
say?
said, I got a question. If we don't get them used to conversating while they're young, how do we expect them to do so at 13? And that's what I said. You have to still push and do your part, even if you get the rejection back, even if you get the disconnect, I don't want to be bothered. Still push.
Well, I think it depends.
No, like still push.
I think it depends on the child. Like I have a niece that won't shut up, and
that's
me and
good,
my
though.
mother said that we were gonna stop asking her to. So we spend a lot of time. We spend a lot of time making sure Kaiten has a platform to talk. When it came to my son was pretty much nonverbal, but now he's talking more and feeling more comfortable.
Yes,
so
yeah.
I'm making him, He said the Mookie song from the game.
I swear, no, seriously, it was the Mookie song.
That's crazy.
Yeah, funny. But I think I do miss encyclopedias.
I do miss
now this is what happened. Me and King went to see a movie called The Monkey, and The Monkey was dated like in the 90s. So the guy pulled out a white pages to find his brother. And King like,
what's that?
Why is he looking in that book to find phone numbers? And I'm like, dang, you don't know what a white pages or a yellow pages is.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of that. Like I know what they look like. I just didn't really have to use them. But they were around when I was younger.
They used to sit on them so I could sit up tall.
I never had to really use them.
When we were talking about having kids here, I was like, I wonder, do we have any books around that they can sit on? And I'm like, how many times do you have yellow pages or anything?
Exactly.
You don't.
Yeah, you don't.
But shout out to the people who make the change. But I have to discredit for those who don't keep the history going. You know what I mean? Like I think Apple is definitely making a better effort than most companies do. To where
I feel like Apple is making it convenient.
Yeah, you can actually go on Apple and they got a thing called books. you can click books and go to books, and they got free books for children. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But
the thing is, you have to take the time. Even now, with my son being 13, if I want him to read a book, I have to sit with him.
yes.
Like, I told him to go in there and read the first chapter of Harry Potter. And like 10 minutes later, he gonna come out talking about he was at chapter 4. Now, if you've seen the Harry Potter books, like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. You done read that in 10 minutes.
My bad, Tony said conversing, but that's the same thing as conversating, though.
Conversating is not a word.
Conversating?
It's not a word.
It's not?
No.
It's not a word.
I'd say conversating.
See, that's what's wrong with you damn millennials right there.
I don't think so.
Do you have a dictionary?
No, I don't just carry one around. But I used to. I used to definitely,
That's
use Webster's.
Did you hear that Scorpion tail come out?
Yeah, all that.
Like,
Shanny, there's no such thing as conversating.
Well, thank you so much
It's
for that.
conversing. Yeah.
I'll keep that in the back of my mind.
No.
I'm still
put that
gonna.
motherfucker in the forefront.
I'm still gonna use.
But but when you recently. We do keep a dictionary. I did buy King a dictionary because I was like, what is a household without a dictionary? Right. Even if we don't use it. But I had told him he needed to know whether or not to use lie or lay. I told him that it had to be lay because lie only means to tell the truth. But to lie down also is spelled L-I-E.
Right.
Yeah.
So we went to the dictionary and he got it wrong and he was pissed because the little program sent you back like 10 points. And he like, what did I ask you for? You don't know how to read. I'm like, why didn't you ask Alexa before you? Why do you keep asking me and you got Alexa right here?
Why do you keep?
That would have been Shanny with her son. Like, it's conversating.
And you're like, conversating.
Well, here's the thing.
Dictionary, Mom.
I don't know.
Shanny, you just gonna disagree when the whole world is gonna say you're wrong?
No, that's
because she's a millennial.
10 toes down.
She does,
but no, here's the thing though.
But you got 10 toes, you got diabetes, you lose before.
Got a good solid 9.
9 toes down.
But no, I just never heard that conversating was not a word.
It's a word in the black community. It's not a real word.
Okay.
It's not a real word.
Don't you think I qualify?
Did you see what Miss Rhea
Yeah, you can
Did you see what
qualify.
Miss Rhea just said?
What did she say?
She said Calvin Deal and Mookie helped Malik
and the gay footballer.
That was my show too, Miss Rhea.
Man,
the game was good. The game was good.
It was.
That's crazy.
But we gotta figure out ways. I'll tell you guys, I am so lucky and blessed to be able to be on several different platforms where my old behind can talk to kids and still relate because they want people. The majority of them want to be heard. Like they do. And I want to thank you for like having this podcast platform.
Oh, baby, thank you.
You know,
hey, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany.
Caller.
Hey.
Oh, this ain't Brittany.
Oh,
not you. Pause. Like, oh no, this ain't her.
Hey,
I thought she walked in the door or something.
No.
Oh, how y'all doing this morning?
What up, though, Cal?
Hey, Cal.
Hi, Cal.
Hey, I agree with you though. Like, I think it's imperative that like a dictionary and a thesaurus be in the household because it's a lot of that on the internet now. Like we seeing people like it's the wrong usage of synonyms, antonyms, homophones, homonyms. You know, like people don't know how to. The grammar. It's like they
and also
it's different. We as black people we talk a certain way, but it's like when you writing, your grammar got to be a certain way when you write.
Yeah, but Cal, you forgot one thing. With the mama and them. The mama and them. Go ahead, bro.
But Calvin, what is so sad though, when you talk about writing, I have an 8th grader that has never written a paper and never been requested to write one.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And him and I had a conversation about that.
What they doing in English now?
Everything.
We used to have weekly book reports.
Right. ELA is on tablets now, so it's nothing to write. And if they do write something, it's talk text and then it's corrected for them.
Well,
once again, like I said in my comment I wrote, it was like we were taught we were taught everything we needed to be taught, and then we ushered in all the technology.
Right.
Yeah.
We did.
You know, so it's like we contributed to it, but it's like we just went with the changes.
So what do you feel about this new generation of youth being our future? Does it make you nervous?
In certain instances, yes, but then some no, because I look at, you know, the community as a whole, and it's like I see more of. We got people like Mr. Miles. We got people like, you know,
Miles don't want to mess with no kids, so don't count him.
But he's still putting out the right messages every day.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Calvin.
And that's the biggest thing. Like, you know, they might not want to listen now, but then, you know what, they might catch him on the right day or catch somebody else on the right day, and then it might sink in their head that day. You know, so I got hope for him.
Okay.
The truth is, ain't no hope in the future. Tupac said that.
Thank you, Cal.
Thank you, Cal.
Thank you, Cal. Feel free to call back when I say something else that's fire to you.
Like something else that you agree with.
But no,
I'm listening.
It'll be next week. Go ahead.
So what I was saying, like thanking God for this podcast platform, because I realize how much it affects my life. So when I felt like I was losing the youth, I turned my speeches into a podcast platform. And I allowed them to come on stage and ask them questions instead of always feeling like we're telling you what to do. Because
meet them where they're at. I say it all the time.
And you said they have a lot to say.
Yes.
If you guys tune in the stream today at 1:15, you'll get a chance to see some of the things that these kids have to say because we're not talking to them.
Nor listening. I feel like a lot of kids do talk or do communicate what's wrong. Everything may not be verbal though, and I feel like that's the sign that the older generation miss. Everything is not always going to be verbal, but that's where learning your kid, paying attention to your kid, and being present with your kids come into play, because you'll notice the different signs. You'll notice the disconnect. You'll notice the standoffishness.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, when I was coming up, if a kid didn't talk, a lot of times older people thought they was retarded.
You see what I'm saying? And they probably just gave up and was like, yeah, I'm going to just let this kid be. And that kid fell by the wayside and grew up not able to converse. Yeah.
Brittany says, I have nieces do math problems, read, and tell me what they understand to see the level of the comprehension. We got to make sure our kids learning from home as well.
I agree.
And now, thank you, Brittany, because one of the issues I have being older with a 13-year-old is that no one helps me take that pressure off, which is another reason why I rely on the tablets and him being away from me so I can think. Because it's like I gotta work, I gotta clean, I gotta make sure this is good, I gotta make sure we breathe, I gotta make sure this, and then we gotta come home and I gotta do work. You know, and there's no needs, and that's what I was saying. Like, I thank you, Brittany, because people are so concerned about I don't have kids, so I don't have to pour into it.
Yeah, but no, you just as responsible. Definitely. Call you on the air.
Good morning.
Oh shit! This is sound like a toxic Negro.
Hi, how's it going? No, I just was calling. Look, so I feel like our kids are either as doomed or as set to lead the future as we allow them, because a lot of us should lead by example. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just talking to my little bro about how when we was coming up, we couldn't even be in the room with adults. We fuck around and get hit upside the head. Get your ass out of here.
Right.
They in the rooms with us. They can pick up all. We don't mind showing them all our bad habits, but we don't want to stick with them and be on the positive stuff. We already dealing with social media. They pushing this homosexual agenda like a motherfucker. We have to combat the shit that's already getting pushed on them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we lead by example, we can at least help a little to balance it off. Everybody not gonna get it, even just like with our eras. But we gotta still fight that fight and not just let them just learn from the internet and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because some people go on the internet and they really learn shit.
True. Right. Yeah. True.
But it's all. I can't say it's all entertainment,
right?
Because sometimes
Yeah,
I am utterly shocked by some of the things that my son know that he learned from the internet. Like I'm growing vegetables now, and I'm starting my garden in the house, you know. And my son came to me and he was like, "Mom, you should plant seeds into bottles or glass so it can take on the shape." So the vegetable can take on the shape, your eggplants and your watermelon. It'd be something really cool for us to do. And I'm like, boy, that can't happen. Now, Big Brother, it did come on my feed. But he was like, Mom, let me show you this video. Like, they're doing it overseas and stuff. So now you can grow square watermelons and things like that. And I'm like, how did you know that? He like, TikTok.
Yeah, that's why I said shout out to TikTok.
TikTok. And that's what I'm saying. Like, everything is never bad or good. You know what I'm saying? You got your good and your bad. Like my daughter, my ex-wife was taking the kids on a cruise some years back. My 11-year-old, she might have been 8 or 9 at the time, was like, I don't know if I want to go because the last cruise that sailed and she gave us, we went back and got to looking this shit up. Like, does she know? But she looked up when the last cruise ship sank and all that. And this shit is some shit that really happened that we don't even know about because we don't pay attention to it.
Yeah. Right.
So they get some stuff out of it, but it's on us to push the stuff that ain't, you know what I'm saying, like the reading and stuff. Everybody don't want to read.
Right.
Hell, we got audio books for that. You know what I'm saying?
True.
We just got to improvise.
But
and Shan don't never. I'm sorry. I'm about to hang up. But I definitely want to say this to Shan. Don't tell them I said conversating. I did not use that word. I know what I spelled. And don't argue with and don't be that parent that be arguing with the teachers leading your kid to get talked about.
Listen. When
you get your kids talked about because the teacher trying to tell them the right way and you want to wear this the way we do it. Now they calling your kid dumb. It'll be your fault.
When you Google conversating and conversing, it comes up the same.
Wow.
The same meaning.
Wow.
Damn Google. That's just like Rhea was in the comments asking me, did I use Alexa or Siri? So you gonna tell me one smarter than the other? I quit. Y'all won.
I'm just saying, maybe you should check Google today.
Good day, y'all. Let me finish watching this stuff.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Google no dumbass people gonna take conversation.
Listen, Google is one of the most used browsers.
Yeah, so is a hooker. You don't keep using it anyway.
Well, I don't
okay to
mind.
be used, not misused.
I don't mind going back and fact checking. You know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to teach King what figuring out the values,
right?
Like Y and N on both sides. Like I got it when there's only one exponent, but now they throwing 2 in the game. I done forgot that. You know what I'm saying? Right. And we went to chat. But what I did when we went to Chat GBT was we gave them the problem, and then I made King write out the problem.
Wow!
Like you're gonna, he like, is this cheating? I'm like, no, we're not gonna say it's cheating. We're gonna use this as learning because you're gonna write down this problem, see how they worked it out. So when we go to the next problem, we can compare the two. We're not gonna use chat for that.
Right, gotcha.
And so by the time we was on the 4th problem, he was going through. Yeah, but I got such an honest kid. You know what I mean? I'm very lucky because he's like, we were told not to use this in school. Like, this is totally cheating. And I'm like,
it wasn't no Chat GPT, or at least I didn't know anything about it when I was in school.
No, I think it was just introduced to me about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where AI is prevalent. But I always say this about human beings. Human beings are resourceful. So they'll find their way as youth. I just want to know what we're going to do as adults to help guide the ones that we have, the ones that will listen. I tell Miles this all the time. You have a voice I feel like kids need to hear. Okay. But I know you don't have the time. But I want you to make the time. Like how?
When I say you let me know in advance because you.
No, you told me no, it wasn't the day before. That event is like in May, and you was like, I don't do Mondays, and
I thought it was March.
No, it was May, and I'm like, I don't do Mondays. Like, damn.
Oh, I do it. Why would do it? I thought it was the following Monday.
But And I'm gonna hold you to that because I'm gonna get that on. And the reason why I feel like you have such an impact is because, for one, like any place else, you have a bunch of women volunteering their time. You have a father voice and presence.
I do.
And when you speak, I believe that kids need to like, sometimes I hear some of these men talking and I'm like, you're up in there in your tight jeans and your weird hats, you know what I mean? And no, they're trying to be heard, but you're not the power that kids need to hear from. Because they may
look at it as their equal, as opposed to...
very true.
Right. Yeah, as opposed to a person in position.
Yeah, a lot of times I realize, like, when I talk to my daughter, bottom line, when I used to say, put her by my side, people are like, what you mean? Then next thing they see a little girl, boom, she grabbed my belt loop, right? I'm like, you treat her like a dog? I said, no, I'm training her to hear my voice. Because when she hear my voice, she hear trust, you know what I mean? And so I said, you have a problem because you sound like everybody else. Not me, not me. We was at Chuck E. Cheese, they couldn't find my daughter, right? They're like, her mother, her grandmother said, y'all asking the wrong person to call her. Let her daddy call her. I said, Naveen. Yes, that. It was funny. Her mother was like, really? Really?
In front of everybody.
So I do agree with you, like.
Well, I'll be in the road. Key, don't make me call your name. That's the one thing I learned from my mother.
Yeah.
Her voice ain't like everybody else.
I'm telling you.
I will call my mother to this day. We'll be in Walmart. I'll be looking at clothes. My mother be in the laundry department. I'll be like, Mama. She'll be like, Keisha, get your ass up. And I'm 46. Like, that's my,
you still know that?
That's my voice.
Hey, look, a sound of authority and discipline will go a long way.
And it's needed. Kids need that. Don't ever think that kids don't need a routine and discipline.
I was taught by a friend of mine how children really love and embrace authority and discipline. And when I really got that, it really made me enjoy being around my little futures.
Most definitely.
You know, like my niece is, Lord. But the one thing I know for sure is that I won't be the one to turn my back on her. You know, she has to be, she can talk and she can be ghetto and she can be whoever she is, but she's expressive.
But think about it. So many people may have already, right? So the fact that you are choosing not to be that one and be
my
there
family,
for
no one has. The one thing we have decided as our little community that we will hold on to our youth.
Yeah, I will hold on to my youth, but it's gonna have to be some padding in between because I'm a very disciplined. Like when it comes to being a parent, it's like this. Listen, you have to listen to me. I was sitting here with me and Chantel and Naveen. I said, "Who do your mother call in order for you to get straight?" She was like, "You." But I always taught my daughter, respect your mother like you respect me. And it's just so hard because, again, her mother be trying to be her friend. And Pooh already know, I'm not your friend. I'm your father. We could play, we could kick and punch and all that, but I'm your father. So, but she listened to me. When I had to call her twice, I was like, hold on. We've been separate for a few weeks. Now, we ain't going to do this. You know what I mean? She said, oh, I didn't hear you say that. And then I forgot who was in there. Rhea, she's like, oh, she really didn't hear you because she's flew in there. But I understand, and I don't scare my daughter because I asked her, I said, are you scared of me? She's like, no. I said, so why do you treat me in a particular way other than you treat? She said, because you're my daddy, like for real, like.
But it needs to be more than just your dad. You know, you need to have that. I think when children are out here and they're making decisions away from adults, they need to know that there's people out here that they can disappoint. And we're not giving them that authority. We're just letting them be. And on TikTok, look with their heads down, and we're not giving them accountability. Now, I have a question for y'all, since this is something that started going viral yesterday. The young man in the Willy Wonka suit, the young man in the purple suit, and his dad. I like the suit. I would have wore it. The funny part about it, I was really into zoo suits when I was in high school, so I probably would have rocked that suit. But the fact that his father stepped out of his comfort zone to take his son to prom.
I did see that.
How-
I did see that.
How do you
Wait
think?
a minute. He took his son to prom. Was his son gay?
His
Yes.
son was gay, and his son was dressed in like a dress pants.
It was
type
a
of
suit that was
situation.
dressed
Yeah.
out.
It's like a train.
But he also had the dopest silk press ever
Yeah.
and some lashes. So you know
Did you
he's
see
not.
how emotional he got? Because he was like, for once, my dad, or I don't know if they dynamic, but maybe he just felt seen in that moment
Well,
and accepted.
in that sense, I wouldn't have been the perfect father for that one. If it's my daughter,
So would you not have showed up?
No, I would have shown up, but I wouldn't have been that to be his date. No, that wouldn't have been me. I believe that the same thing I told Poodle yesterday. I said it's time for us to have this conversation. And I said, you liking boys? She's like, no. Beyond no. I said, you liking girls? She said, no. I said, if you need to talk about anything, I'm always here for you. But just be honest with me and be very upfront, because there's some things that I'm going to have to protect you from. And I want you to be aware of. So you got to write the right weaponry to go against. I said, there's going to be things coming against you if they're not already attacking you. Just let me know.
Now, I will tell you this, what I've noticed about the young children, the Gen I children raised by Generation X, they are holding off on their sexuality. Like, my son does not like, he'd be like, Mom, I'm not gay.
Right.
Like, stop asking me that. Because I'm like, you don't like a girl yet? Like, let's talk about it. And he like, we don't have to talk about it. Because if you see these young ladies at school, they're loud. They're wearing tight pants.
Yeah.
I don't like it, Mom.
Do you
Like,
think that kind of overextends them to want to go that, you know?
Well, what it makes them do,
bad?
I don't know, I think I said it to you and you this morning. There's a lot of men who's growing up, especially in the new generation, they don't like loudmouth women and girls at all. They don't like, it's just certain things they just don't like. And a lot of times you got to remember, it's like it represents a lot of things that they dislike in their family too. So it's like we just got to be conscious on how we want to try to perceive a child, especially as a boy, because you keep saying a boy gay, so maybe I should be. I ain't saying your son,
right?
But he be like, well, maybe I should.
Why
be
y'all
gay.
keep
That's what I'm
asking
saying.
me
Just
that?
the more that you kind of push that, instead of letting them either come to you or bring it up,
But
do
it's
you feel like that kind of pushes the kid in that direction?
I just want, because to be ready. And like I lost my virginity at 13, so I have to remember where my head was at 13.
Yeah.
So I also, which I was saying about the young man in the prom, I constantly and continuously tell my son that I am his safe space. I want him to be able to talk to me first.
Yeah.
But because his head is always down, and he's always, I don't know
what he's feeling,
where he's feeling and what he's feeling. You know what I mean? I have to ask him little things like, you know, I don't know much about the male anatomy, you know what I mean? But like, it stinks in here. You know what I mean? When you start smelling like that, that means that things are changing hormonally,
in your body,
which means that your thoughts are going to be different.
Right.
And I need to just be prepared for that. I don't want him to feel like he doesn't have a space, because they don't do sex education.
They don't.
They don't do health and humanities.
No, none of
you
that.
know, like they barely do gym.
Yeah.
You know, where you just learn how to be around other boys. You know what I'm saying? Like gym class used to be separate when I was in high school. When I went to gym, it was all the girls, and then the boys had gym time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. So the things that the boys was learning in the locker room are things that men know now about other men that I just don't get.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was like yesterday, Pooter, I noticed some things about her. A lot of her mannerisms is a lot like mine, right? One thing she's really conscious of is her hair, because you know she know I love women with original hair, like all that fake weaves. I don't do that. So she was like, so she said, you ain't saying nothing about my hair today, and I was like, Pooter, your hair is beautiful. She said, okay, I'm okay. And I said, who did it? She's like, me. So she learned how to curl her own hair and stuff like that. But I said, when last time you had some weave in your hair? She said, like, I don't do that. Because I used to be on her mother's head, because her mother be quick to throw the little braids or the little thing. I said, get that shit out of my daughter's hair.
Yeah.
Well, she don't have to come over there. I said, listen, I'm taking her to the hairdresser.
All right.
She can take her to the hairdresser, and the hairdresser clean all that shit out of her hair. Like me,
yeah.
I'm not that type of person because I know the dangers that come with that shit still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
But it ain't nothing wrong with braids.
no, it's wrong with
Protective.
it's not a protective style when her hair is how it is. She have a lot of hair.
Right.
And I think like with hair like that, you need to condition it and let it breathe and naturally do things.
You do, but I that's one thing I can't stand is dads trying to intertwine themselves in their daughter's hair.
Oh, well,
because she be a wreck.
No.
Like it's hard to take care of your natural hair. Like don't ever
put it in the ponytail, or I'll get it done.
That ain't working.
Or I'll put it in the ponytail.
Put it in. Shanny, like, do you know how long is what I got to do in the morning to get this going on? I want my weed back.
I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. She mastered it, and one thing for sure, two things for certain. She also learned the difference on taking that shit out of her hair, how much it hurt her head. So she be like, I'm straight, and I'm just trying to teach her. It's always a turn. If you don't think something is right, just tell me. Daddy will make it right. If there's a wheel, there's a mile.
And that's what I'm saying. Like you got all these gifts to give your child, but what about the other children?
I would give it to her, but the other thing, the other gifts. Number one, she's by her being my child. The gift I give to her is different because the other parents still have to be coachable. And then not only if you're dealing with a mother who, like, it was another clip I sent to people, like, this girl was like, oh yeah, I got 2 stand-up dudes, 11 and 12. And the guy was like, 11 and 12, they are boys, no, they're men. He's like, you cannot teach a boy to be a man. He needs a man in his life, something, whether it be his father, whatever. But and he was like, and so when he broke her down, she was like, because the truth is, the only thing a woman can do is the best she can.
But this is the issue that I have, and it's an ongoing issue when I converse with men. Y'all want to spend so much time telling a woman that she can't raise a son.
No, they would say it.
Okay.
Said you can't.
Okay, that's it.
Right. No, but my thing is, I can't raise a boy to be a man, even though I'm left to do the job. You know what I mean? And so instead of spending time telling me what I cannot do, help assist me and guide me into knowing better. You know what I mean? Like, because you're not getting up every day trying to pour into this kid or these children. You know, and no, I don't want my son to be out here robbing and still. I want him to be the best man he can be, and that's all I have is what I pour into him, because he is my future. I tell King every day, you are a reflection of who I am, and when I'm gone, they're gonna look at you and be like, Lake did that.
Right.
Lake did that. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's a difference. Yeah. But I did that without the help of a man.
Well, here's the truth.
You know what I'm saying? But
my mother was a single parent, though my father was only 1.5 miles away, right? Mm-hmm. But she made sure when I was disciplined, she called my cousin Punch, and made sure I was disciplined properly. She ain't trying to discipline me all the time, because she said, when I remember him walking out, she said, what did he say? He said he was sorry, he'd never do it again. But if he do, I told him I'll be back. You know what I mean? That made me realize that there was somebody who at least heard me, right? But I was young. I was a little kid. I was 11 years old. Carly, you're there.
Hey, my man. You're teaching your daughter your opinion. Because ain't nothing wrong with braids. That's just your perception, your view on it. How you gonna instill something in her, like make her think it's wrong because it's what you don't like?
No, that ain't what I said, Tony. You gotta listen to what I said.
That's what it sound like.
No, when it's fake.
That's what it sound like to me too.
You just said your daughter. You say she won't even deal with weed now because she know you don't like it. That's what you said.
No, that's exactly what I said. What I said was,
I said what I said.
I'm not putting no fake synthetic hair in my daughter's head.
Right.
Because
you're not right.
No, listen, because I know. No, listen, because I know what that shit do. I know what it should do. I know so many women right now with fungus on their scalp because they put that fake ass synthetic shit in their head. And you gotta remember, Tom, I grew up in this hair world, and I noticed how much these perms, synthetic hair, that fucked up these women's head. That's why a lot of these women wearing these goddamn bold ass lace fronts, because their hair is fucked up. They got this fungus in scalp, and their hair cannot breathe, and it's all because of the synthetic shit. And right now they're just now putting out all on Facebook, TikTok. Oh, there's over 10 synthetic new brands of hair that causes cancer, that does this, that does that.
Yeah,
but
Nah, I get that.
Yeah, so I'm not going.
So the one thing I could say, and maybe he said it incorrectly. You know what I mean? For one, these children are in a generation where they can't embrace their natural hair. So him,
and I've seen her. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I know I was gonna say him liking it is probably more of a motivator, but it did sound like he said that she was only doing it because he liked it.
No,
I'm with you.
Yeah, but
and I want to say I've seen Pooter a few times at the other spot, and she looked like she got good hair. Her hair probably thick, so that's why the mother what she go through. Because when I had braids, like 3 of my daughters' hair exactly like mine. That's all I keep hearing. Y'all hair so thick. Now it's good hair. But it's thick, so they say it's just more to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
And don't get me wrong. And don't get me wrong. We went to Tropical Cafe yesterday, right? All these girls had this long ass hair, all past their ass and everything. Poodle looking at them like, she said, "Daddy, why they got that much hair in their head?" Now this is what she told me on our way back, walking to the car. I said, "Baby, I don't know." She said, I don't want to be. I can't be like that. Now these are old. You can tell they're older, like 14, 15. But at the same time, she was like, no. And I get it. Go ahead,
that's
Tom.
dope, though.
Yeah.
No, that's dope that she don't want to go with that phase. And shit.
Yeah, because
she too young to be thinking about going down that low, and she's supposed to look at it like that. Because one thing the youth is doing is growing up too damn fast.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Thank you for talking.
And I'm about to get out of here. I got one more thing to say, and I'm hanging up now. Look, because I was typing it, but I'm gonna say it now. We got to get out the habit of talking about how women can't raise a boy to be a man, and we expect that we can raise girls to be women, because we the same. We in the same place as them, actually. When you look at it,
very true. But one thing for sure, two things.
There's no but.
One thing for sure.
There's no but.
3 things for certain.
You're not a woman. How many periods you done had in your life?
Not one, but can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Due to the fact that you done taught your daughters what to look out for, and actually know how to be treated, you teach your daughters with much respect, right? You open doors for them. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, when a father is in a girl's life, that girl will realize that the way my father treat me, if you can't treat me nowhere near half as this, there's no way you're gonna get anything other than that. And that's the whole thing. Right. And so
you're right. So but it's the same with when the women raise the men. They learn how to love on a woman because they love their mother. It's the same thing.
No, they only learn how
it's no different, man.
So listen, they only learn how to love on their mother when they have a man loving their mother, because that man showed them how to love their mother.
No.
I can't
Their mother is instilling love in them that's coming from a woman, just like we instill love and coming from. Yeah, it's the same thing that you just said about with the daughters.
It's not. And then when you think about it, you show your son.
Okay, just say you chauvinistic, my man.
Okay.
Thank you, Tom.
No, I ain't chauvinistic. I'm just showing tone. So no, but seriously, a boy, he would love on his mother, right? Because that's his mother. But to show love to another woman, it will only come from when a man is in his mother's life, and that man show how he love his mother.
It could go one or two ways. It can go the way like you said, or it can go that because that wasn't given, they want to be that example for
that's
next. So it could go either
and I was thinking, like, I made an effort to not show King images of me being with multiple men.
Right.
Yeah.
So I can only pour love into you.
Right.
Like you are.
But now that you're with someone.
Now that I'm with someone,
Does it?
He like, ooh, now you can be with him and you can stop loving on me.
So he's happy for you because of that. He's like, okay, she's not about this.
She ain't about this.
But also, I'm willing to bet, and I'm no child psychologist, and I'm not a psychologist, period, or therapist. But I bet you he tried to show you different things about him or how he's loving you, and it's only because when he see you smile at the derm hug you. I'm just saying. My son is picking up on male things, but it's also as I learn how to be loved and treated when my expectations rose, the expectations my expectations for King rose. So when I got the house, when we were working on the house, the whole time we were working on the house, I was telling him, I'm specifically doing this for you because I don't want you to ever be a hobosexual like men in my generation. You will always have a home. Right. This is your home. But because this is your home and it's certain things in your home you have to do. Right. You have to love this home and to protect the woman that's in it. Yeah. Because that is your job as a man. So I started telling myself, like, I don't walk out the house last. Right. This was before Derm came along. You close the door behind me. I can't stand when a man run out the house and leave their woman in the house to lock up and this, that, and the other. I've seen it too many times and it burns my biscuit. So those are things. So now my son always holds the door open and let me in. Now you are right. He's learning love from a sexuality point, maybe. Seeing a man love on me. Yes. Yeah. You know, like how that part feels good. But he has respect for my partner that he doesn't want to disappoint him. Right. But he's also not confrontational. You know, like we were talking about a couple of weeks ago when you're dealing with children who want to push back that other person of authority or that other person in the house, like what I had to deal with my son's father. King would never not listen to any adult. Okay. He's not that kid. He could be playful and shit like that, but he ain't gonna take it too far. He knows it's a time and a place. Yeah. And that comes from the village as a whole.
And that speaks volumes because a lot of kids don't even have that.
But that's why I say,
you know how to make that deciphered.
Because it takes other people to be in and assert their authority. You know what I mean? And one of the biggest hurt when I had my son is that so many people removed themselves out of my life. And I'm like, you know, I thought we needed y'all. I thought that was the promise that like everybody give you all these promises to your belly and stuff. Of course. Like, and then they're not there.
Yeah, that's what I said. All you have is all you need.
All you have is all you need. Who are you texting that you're not a part of this conversation? They don't know you do a show?
I'm promoting the show. I'm sending it out. Thank you very much.
Okay. Good morning, Sean.
You was talking and I was giving you my ears.
Good morning.
Who chopping?
And no. So it says when a man is in a girl's life, it makes a difference. I think it makes a big difference.
I agree. Because even if it don't get you when you're younger, it will affect you when you're older.
And when we talk about women being our future, you know, knowing how to speak, knowing how to listen. Yes. You know, that does come from your father. You know, or falling in love with somebody in your 40s and they have to check you about your behavior. You know what I mean? Like, but it just scares me that so many when you were talking about earlier, I love the fact that you say your generation men are making themselves more present.
Yeah, available, yes.
Because too many of my generation men will go on. I mean, I was talking to my guy and they had a death in the family. He had to go to Philly. And one of the things that he noticed is that his son didn't realize that he needed to be the masculine support system for his aunt and his mother.
While he wasn't there.
No, he was there. He went there.
Oh, Durham.
Durham went there, but he had to teach his son.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you have to. Women are dependent on you. They need their arm.
Yeah.
Like, and now this is you're in your 30s now. It's your responsibility to go up there and make sure that your aunt and your mother are okay.
Well, that's all I'm
You know,
saying.
and it's like, you know, like, and I'm like, a man's job is never done when teaching our youth how to be better.
Yeah,
I agree.
and I totally agree. And that's the biggest
you don't ever
disconnect.
stop learning.
That's the biggest disconnect. That's what Dr. Calvin T. Man is great at, on showing people the importance of a man in the household, in the family, and in the marriage, because people don't get it. We are the most thrown away. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And the least likely to have support system.
Right.
We just don't have a support system. Women got support groups after support groups after support groups. And we had a group of men called "Hey, Come Cry on My Shoulder" organization. Men be like, man, I ain't joining that shit. Because
I wish somebody
But
would.
it's up to y'all to change that narrative.
I wish y'all find a place to cry.
Because y'all gotta be there for each other. Yeah.
I'm sure you do. You look like you've been crying this morning.
I'm crying right now.
On the inside?
No, right now. No. Okay. Hey, y'all.
Too soon?
Listen, let's break right quick. Y'all watching the Rise and Grind Morning Show right here on podcast. And give us a call after this commercial break, 810-560-0658. We reached the 10:30 mark already. It's gone, but we got to still do what we got to do. Pay our respect to everybody who's respecting us. We'll be right back.
Get ready for a night of lyrics and laughter. April 19th in Music Hall with Grammy Award winner Chrisette Michelle. Also, the smooth sounds of Kindred, the Family Soul. And on the same show, get your laugh on with comedian Bruce.
Man, I went to church with my aunt. We didn't get up to 12:30. We didn't leave out of Friday evening by 4 o'clock.
And your celebrity host, Omar Gooding. Tickets on sale now. Available at Ticketmaster and the Music Hall box office.
So I'm gonna be like Queen Latifah and these bitches set it off. I ain't risking my life for no $2,000. You got $1 million in the hood. Somebody gonna fuck around and rob that motherfucker. You see a bitch, and smack a bitch.
Hey, real quick, I know you guys are enjoying the show. Yes, we are always having a good time on the Rise and Grind Show. But please, do me a favor. Go to YouTube, type in Rise and Grind Morning Show. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Therefore, you can always be in tune with our live content and interact with us, be in the comments, and we can keep bringing dope, hot content to you. Now, we're going right back to the show.
All right.
Well, can I go?
Well, go ahead.
Me. Pick me. I'm part of the pick me generation.
Okay.
Pick me. So, one of the things, because I was supposed to have this segment, things to do in Detroit.
Right.
So I don't have specific things, but I want everybody to know it is spring break. So when we are talking about pouring into our youth, they should not be at home every day for 9 days. I really hope you parents took vacation days or have them someplace, things that they can do.
Yeah.
So today is movie day.
Yes.
Right?
$5.
$5 at MJR, the Bel Air, AMC.
Imagine.
And if you go, I'm a member of MJR. When you go on their site, they have all kids' movies listed for this week. So today, my son and my nieces and nephews, we're going to see the Looney Tunes. Snow White is out. They're playing Indiana Jones specially. Take them to the movies. Take them to CJ Barrymore. I am a part of the Detroit Historical Museum. The museums are open Wednesday through Sunday. And if you are Detroit residents, for most of those museums, they are free. The aquarium is open on Belial Thursday through Sunday. The Nature Center is open. Both of those are free. And they just opened up the conservatory, so you can go see the beautiful goldfishes and the amazing flowers in the conservatory. Outdoor Adventure is another one that's a great place to take your kids. I know it's cold outside, but do something. Best in Games in Ypsilanti. They can do axe throwing. They can do go-kart racing. They can. They have bounce houses in there. We just have to make sure that something's being done. We all can't afford to take a week off and take them to Disney or somewhere out of town, but please do what you can and get these kids out of the house, off the electronic devices, and spend some time with them. More so than anything, make sure that you spend some time, go to dinner.
Yeah, please.
You know,
because they have to have some type of connection with one of their parents or elders that's watching them, and so they at least know that you care.
And I was so sad during I made a mistake over winter break. Like they had the last week of February off, and I'm like, we didn't do anything. And I know like people didn't get their tax money back, and no, I'm serious, because it's expensive for them to be home. Yes. And that's why I am challenging those that are,
especially with the food,
not the parents, that the other people in the family, to take time out with these kids. It's so much free stuff going on in our city, though. We do have a lot of opportunities here. The Science Center have free days, and even if you go to the African American Museum, it's only $15 a person. Yeah. I know that's a lot.
It's a lot
for some people,
especially if you have 4 or 5 children, right? I learned this when I was in Jersey and I went to the aquarium, right? The tickets are $69, right? For this aquarium. It's a very huge aquarium. Or was it 49? It was 49. But then she's like, 7 tickets. I cringed, like, damn. Right. She about to spend a high $350.
I cringed when my cousin took when we went to Tampa. We went to the aquarium. My cousin covered it, and it was like $49 a person or whatever. And then you had add-ons. We didn't do no add-ons. Like, if you want to see this movie, or you want to take this ride to go see the dolphins, like it was an extra $25. Yeah. But then we supposed to be saving for those things, because they should do something educational.
I agree.
And also, honestly, I think it'd be dope. I help you out with it. Do a little pamphlet for families and stuff. A little pamphlet or a flyer, so that people could do things on a quarterly basis.
And it's the information's out here. Yes. There's mom sites all over everywhere. Like Canterbury Village will be having a egg drop. It's only $10.99. I know that.
Shit, eggs $12, so y'all better go.
Right. They probably use the plastic ones. Like, like we can't afford that this year.
Eggs has went down.
Yeah, that's good. But one of the things is, like, I know that we're used to things being free, but we also got to lean into these controlled environments where our kids can still be able to celebrate and enjoy the things that we used to.
You get what you pay for.
You do get what you pay for.
Definitely.
And you have to be willing to pay for it.
That's true. For the experience. That's what you're paying for, really.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, like, a day at Kalahari is $90 a person.
Is that for the wristband?
Just for the wristband. That's not staying the night.
Okay, I was gonna say the roll, just the wristband.
Yeah, just
$90 per person.
$90 a person. So there is, for those who can go to Canada, right across the way, 10 minutes away from my house. There is a water park, and it is $24 a person.
Wow.
And it's right on the other side. And another thing I want to encourage everybody, if you can't do anything else, become a part of the rec centers.
Yes.
So if you are if you want to be a part of Wayne County Rec Centers for a family, this is where me and King get screwed. It's $100. But if you have 7, it's $100 for the year. and you can go to all the rec centers.
If I was you, I'd just be like, I got 7.
No, you got to show proof.
It's the black card for the rec center.
It's the black.
Go to other locations,
and it's $7 for your kids to just go for the day
because you have to show ID when you go there.
But
so
$100.
Yeah.
The one off of Virginia Park and Rosa Parks, they got a brand new pool, a brand new workout facility.
Wow.
You know, Bustles is doing all type of programming, boxing.
I think podcasting should be on their list.
Yeah,
because
that's the stuff that the schools
that.
and things take out. So for kids to be able to, you know, go to a place where those things are still accessible.
Why you saw the stuffing? Like you say,
because you over here sneezing on all the equipment.
First of all,
yeah, I'm about to go ahead and head out. Sheesh.
Hey, we about to get out of here anyway. I don't like the way they treat me.
Just pour into your youth, please.
I thought it was a thing that only I heard, but I guess not.
What?
The stuffiness.
Oh no! It was yeah.
I just want us to do better as a generation to pour into our future.
I'm with it. 1,000%.
Yes.
I actually had a thing called a magazine was coming out called Youth Sports, but I'm trying to find. Well, damn.
She's like, I just had to, you know,
go ahead, snuffle
add on to the aesthetics in the room.
It's the Michigan weather.
Because I swear all morning we like.
Yeah, Michigan weather.
It is. Shit. I promise you, I know it was when it was raining and it was snowing.
No,
and I was trying to be cute.
Started last night.
I was trying to be cute, and I had on a little jacket.
When she went to the movie premiere.
That was the problem. That's why you have to layer up people.
First of all, when we got there, it was okay. We walked out, it was snowing. We was like, okay, see, this is too much.
You gotta love Detroit.
You have to love Michigan.
You get all 4 seasons in one day.
I remember that happened for real.
I did.
I was like,
it just happened.
No. I'm talking about it was snowing.
Oh.
It broke, then all of a sudden it was 78 degrees, then it dropped down to 30 again. I said, oh. Hell
the other day it was 62 when we went. What was that? Sunday. It was 62 at 2:00 in the morning.
Damn.
And then it snowed Sunday.
Yeah, that's what they were doing.
And then the sun came out.
Exactly.
And I promise y'all, my vegetables was like.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was the craziest thing ever.
Give it again.
Life suck and it give it to you again.
and again. Sound like me on a drunk night. Listen, hey, y'all about to get out of here. Thank y'all for watching the Rise and Grind Boys Show.
Be fearlessly focused, y'all.
Focus.
And thank Lady B for being herself. And Shandy on the ones and twos bringing us to you, of course. And y'all, we about to get out of here. Before I say anything, ladies, you find a good man, check his drawers first. That will let you know how you live. That will show how he living his life. Because our futures and our youth.
Like what type of advice was that to give to the people?
Because our future and our youth, right? And if the man you dealing with still got youthful shit stains, he's not worth nothing. Hey, y'all, we out. Peace.
Rise and grind. Wanna show at 9:15 a.m. Monday through Friday. Great conversation, guest appearances. 'Cause you